Hey guys, how's it going? I am LEGO Gun Replicas, and today I get the privilege of showing you one of the most amazing rifles that has preceded the AR-15. Here I get to show you my modernized version of the AR-10. So, the AR-10, developed by Eugene Stoner, moved away from the traditional wood stock of the M1 Garand in favor of a more straight-line design, an elevated iron sight, recoil compensator, and a patented gas system. In this system, from a fired cartridge would bleed into the gas block, in this case the front iron sight assembly, through a small gas port in the barrel. That gas would travel in a metal tube through the receiver into the gas key on the bolt carrier, pushing it rearwards and unlocking the bolt from the barrel extension. The bolt group would extract and eject the casing from the chamber, and as it pushed against the mounting, pressure on the buffer and spring within the stock would begin to travel forward again, picking up a new round from the box magazine and chambering it, thus cycling the action and readying the gun to fire. Stoner's initial AR-10 design, completed in 1955, was chambered for the 7.62 by 51mm NATO cartridge, similar to the commercial 308 Winchester, as prescribed by the needs of the NATO program. The aluminum alloy receiver and reinforced fiberglass pistol grip, stock, and handguard made the rifle about a full pound lighter than other infantry rifles of the era, and the gas system was innovative compared to the pistol system employed by its competitors. The AR-15 would never enter service in the US, but its influence on American arms was just the beginning, and Armalite decided to try its hand at developing a service rifle again in 1957 as a part of the US Continental Army Command Rifle Program. The goal was to produce a .22 select fire rifle that would weigh 6 pounds or fewer and fired a high velocity projectile accurate to 500 yards. This rifle would eventually become the AR-10, which the US would adopt as the M4, or later version, or the earlier versions as the M16. So, starting with some details of this rifle, at the front, I decided to go for a weirder, more unusual type of flash suppressor, or muzzle, which I was inspired by the Scar 20 and just some of my other rifles I've made before. Here we have the barrel. Coming more forward, we have a gas selector, which would divert more gas if need be during tougher environments. So you have a normal selector, which would just be your normal usage, say just everyday range shooting, or you can turn this lever to the left, which would give more gas to the system and thus making it able to power through mud and snow and whatever kind of gunk would get inside of the action of the rifle. Coming forwards, we have my front iron sight, which is just a little design that I had made, and I didn't really put any thought into it, as this is a custom AR-10 / M110 that I have made. I also wanted to try a way of making a M-lock rail right here. So we just have the little slits, put your attachments into there, and also running along the top of the rifle we have just a standard Picatinny rail system and a little bit on the bottom here. Coming more back to the rifle, we have it going into a 3-stud wide receiver on top of a 4-wide handguard, or lower actually, a 4-wide lower and a 3-wide receiver, which is something I felt was very much improved since my last M110. We also have your mag release, which doesn't unfortunately work, but with just a little bit of gravity, it kind of will. It also is the same for the bolt release, so unlike my M4 that I've done, this one does not catch the bolt. However, the bolt does work. Coming farther back, I've made an interesting design for my trigger and trigger guard. So, as you can see, I wanted to make my trigger a more straight kind this time. So, here I just have a 1x4 plate with the studs, one each on the sides. And then, because the trigger is so long, I needed a very slim trigger guard, which is how I came up with this unique design here with just the 1x1 clip and this robotic arm. The grip is also 3-wide, which of course goes into the 4-wide lower. We also have our fire selector, which is ambidextrous, just no signs on the left side, but it does work. And here we have safe, and right here we have fire, so there is no full auto on this rifle. And it does kind of get stuck a little bit from time to time, so just squeezing on both sides kind of helps out the rifle. Here we have the stock, which is longer than the actual receiver and lower, but it's very nice, very comfortable, and looks great. Also, coming to the charging handle, again, I wanted to make it look modern, so I came up with these 4x1 angled pieces on the sides, and also have this 1x1 flat rounded piece for the end piece there. We also have the forward assist, so if the bolt kind of gets caught up on the real rifle, we can actually see these grooves right here that I've put onto the bolt, which when you would press this button, it would just help the bolt go back into battery. Here we have your brass deflector, so any spent shells that come out that would be risking hitting you would just hit this and go away from the rifle and away from you. We also have the dust cover, which simply works like that, and a little detail of, I guess you could like imagine a screw to hold on this M-lock rail. So the magazine is a 10-round magazine, and it looks fairly nice. I don't have a bullet on top look on this one, unfortunately, but I do love these grooves inside the mag, which helps give off the feeling, or which is something of the magazine being a stamped aluminum magazine. But I guess you could imagine this 1x6 flat plate as a round or something, but of course the round would be as long as the magazine. So yeah. One other feature of this LEGO M110 that isn't necessarily a feature that I added to it, but is still kind of cool nonetheless, is that you can separate the upper and lower receivers from each other, which I will demonstrate. And so here are the two receivers off from each other. Here you can see also the rubber band system inside for the charging handle, which does go all the way back and forwards. And also your lower receiver, which actually kind of looks kind of cool when it's just when these two receivers are separated from each other. I would have loved to make a hinge design like I did on my M4, you know, kind of make that simulation of cleaning the insides of the rifle. But with the upper receiver being 3 and the lower receiver being 4, that would have been a real challenge to do. And have it hinge at the front, yeah, that would have been a big challenge to do. And of course, what is one of my rifles without some attachments? Here we have some Picatinny rails that we can add to the side of the M-LOK rails, which would just help with some compatibility with some other attachments that we will add later. Which, when added to the side of this M-LOK rail, does give the rifle a more distinctive look when it's on the side. And of course, this being a Picatinny rail, it does give us the option for some other attachments that we can add to this rifle, such as this flashlight laser combo. Now, I haven't modeled this after a particular tech box per se, but I do remember seeing it in Ghost Recon Breakpoint, so I just kind of modeled this off of one that I thought looked like in game. So let's attach this to the rifle. And with it on, it does give a more definite, I guess you could say, signature to the rifle, which is just amazing. With it on, you know, I don't really have to wait for you to turn it on, but it really just looks amazing on the side of the rifle. And actually, we have some more attachments that we can add to the bottom of this rail, like this angled foregrip, which actually feels really nice in the hands, and it works pretty cool too with this downwards slope, and then kind of cutting back and into the finger right here, which feels actually really nice pinky on. On the rifle, gosh, this just looks absolutely amazing. I did move the laser sight flashlight to the other side onto the other Picatinny rail. But again, this is just an amazing looking rifle. How about some more attachments? I know what you're thinking. This again? Really? Well, yeah, really. It's just a great universal sight. Although I do have another sight that I'm gonna show y'all. Let's first see what this ACOG looks like on our rifle. And adjusting these. And there we go. We have your M110 with the ACOG scope. It does make the rifle fairly heavy though, and with everything already attached, it's just really, really heavy. So, I mean, it looks good. And you know, it might be small, but we do have a little red dot that I've made, and it is on some risers, which I wish I had more of these 1x2 by 2 brackets, or I think these are brackets, yeah. And I wish I had some more to put right there so you could actually see through the riser. but this as a sight is still really cool. And putting it on the rifle, it definitely does give the rifle more of a CQB kind of look, which honestly I really love. I just love the way this looks with the box, the grip, and our little red dot, which honestly is really cool. But we have one more attachment, which I did kind of make in a rush, but it still looks really good, I think. Because this video is already getting very long, here we just have a 30 round magazine, which if we put into the rifle, it does give it a more distinctive, more kind of like AR-15 kind of look. But personally, I like it with the 10 round mag. Also, really quickly, let's just look down through the iron sights. Now finally, the moment you've been waiting for. Let's shoot this thing. So, if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to leave it a like. If you also wouldn't mind considering subscribing, that would be greatly appreciated, as this does also help out my channel. And until I see you next time, goodbye.